Don't take information from Rubini verbatim. Those are wrong information. I cleared it up today in the Abu Dhabi conference. Binance is not banned from operating in the UK. Binance does not have a license to operate in the UK. That's different from being banned.
Sure.
UK
Right.
as a Commonwealth country allows reverse solicitation. As long as we don't solicit, like advertise in UK, if a UK user come to us, it's no. Actually, honestly, I do not think it. I did not think it. I still don't think I have that much influence.
Binance CEO Changpeng Zhao, or as he is popularly known, CZ, has been under fire since the FTX collapse. In fact, many people, even in our comments, have been saying that he's also faulty and has something to gain out of it. Is it just a coincidence that when CZ said he was going to sell all his FTX tokens after showing that Binance wanted to acquire the exchange, everything fell apart and FTX went insolvent with liquidity issues? On November 6th, CZ said on Twitter that they would liquidate any remaining FTD from their books as a post-exit risk management strategy. And today, we know that Sam Bankman-Fried called him before that. If you missed that video, the link is available in the pinned comment below. Many people are saying this was all planned. They are trying to expose Changpeng Zhao as a fake savior of the industry and that he's trying to profit from all of this and get more shares in the companies he's supposedly trying to help. So pay close attention, as this interview today will blow your mind and help answer all the questions you may have about this subject.
Many consumers are really hurt financially. They have money stuck on FTX, etc. That's going to really shake confidence in trust, credibility in this industry. So now people withdrawing funds from centralized exchanges, and the volume will decrease. The regulators all around the world will be scrutinizing us very heavily going forward, and getting new licenses around the world is going to become much harder. So we'll have a lot more education to do. We do need to increase transparency of our businesses significantly. That itself is actually probably a good thing. So this is going to be like a lot of impact. Short-term negative, long-term I actually think many of them are actually going to be positive.
Wait, so according to CZ, there are good things coming out of this. Is this a positive event even if many people have lost their wealth? Maybe he was waiting for this to happen. Just check this out.
I was very surprised by the amount of money that they lost and the amount of customer funds they moved and the state of things there. I mean, before this, I can do some mental mathematics. Based on our revenue, we can and our relative size, and we can estimate their revenue, which is quite small because they charge lower fees. We know most of their public spendings. We know how much they spend on, stadium naming rights, referee jerseys, marketing budgets, etc. We also know how much funds they raised, which is not much, to be honest. And then we also know we kind of have a rough idea, but we never know for sure because they could be doing something different. No, actually, honestly, I do not think it. I did not think it. I still don't think I have that much influence. I think we were the last straw that broke the camel's back. It's not the straw that's really, really strong. This thing has been building up. There's a long chain of events that led to this. People have been losing trust in FTX. Many other people were suspicious of the activities going on. So there was many things that's building up to this thing where we may or may not have been the last trigger. It may be something else. To be honest, even if I didn't make that tweet, this whole thing could still happen. So it's not to say the last straw that have such impact. So it was the buildup of the lack of trust in FTX and people's suspicions. People don't like the way that the DeFi regulations were proposed by them. There's a whole bunch of stuff that built up to it. I may have happened to be the last thing that poked it.
Quite a weird reply, don't you think? But could it have been prevented?
If we had stronger audit on reserves, on how money is used, how client funds are saved, if we had more of those mechanisms, this thing probably could have been prevented or reduced. It's never 100%. When a guy wants to lie, there's many different ways he could fake the data, give you false information, etc. So I think regulations help, but it's never 100%. Understand that FTX has been gap audited. in the US, right? So they somehow fake that and somehow fool the auditors. So just in this particular case, I'm not sure. I think those things, more audits are really good, but I'm not sure if they will prevent this particular case, because we never know how this one guy will react to that.
And when asked, do you see that this could also happen to Binance, since most of Binance's profit only comes from one revenue source?
No, I don't foresee that happening anytime in the short term. I think we're still very healthy financially. We're quite solid. We have a fairly large cash reserves, which we use for acquisitions, investments, and helping other projects. On a day-to-day operations, we're still profitable. So I don't see any need for turning on other revenue matrices. Yeah.
Also, CZ has been talking for the past few days about how Binance is creating a recovery fund to help everyone affected by this black swan event. And here's what he has to say about that.
Different numbers being, so it's not set in stone, different numbers being thrown around. I've seen numbers around $2 billion, etc. I'm not sure if that's enough or that's too much. We like to take a more flexible approach where, let's look at how many projects do need this money and how many good projects we can identify. There may be a lot of projects that that they just want money, but they may not be good enough for us to put funds in. We want to help the strong projects that are just a cash crunch. So we don't know how many they are completely yet. So as time goes on, we need to talk to each of these projects and find out more. Yeah. When the industry gets bigger, our revenue gets bigger. So we want to save it. We don't want the industry to become smaller. When FTX did some deals like Voyager, when we were bidding on Voyager, we saw all the data. FTX owed Voyager $530 million US. We were bidding on Voyager at the same time, but we don't owe Voyager any money. So we don't owe anybody else in the industry any money. So, but we still want to save the good players in the industry so that the negative impacts in the industry is minimized. Consumers are protected, and then consumer confidence returns. Hopefully the industry will continue to grow.
But is he being compensated with this fund? I bet the answer is different from what you were waiting for.
Well, there's different ways to get compensation. We can take equity, we can ask for other things, or we can just say, look, so some projects, for example, if it's a blockchain development project, so open source system, we may just say we give grants all the time too. So the different projects may have different situations.
So he can actually make something out of this. What if this also happens to Binance in the future? Can it happen? What's collapsing next?
I think all of those, and that concern applies to every business, not just in crypto. So I think as consumers, when we're using platforms, especially if you're storing money onto a platform, including a bank, you should ask those questions. So I think those are very valid questions. But in the blockchain world, things can be much more transparent. So we're doing that proof of reserves, which using like Merkle tree, so that people can verify that the assets are included, and we have full reserves. And so so there are many ways to be more transparent. We published our cold wallet addresses. We are now working with multiple regulators all around the world on how to do this audit more transparently and more automatically. So we're doing a number of those things, but every user should verify on their own. And if you don't trade often and you can hold crypto on your own, do hold crypto on your own. But holding crypto on your own also have certain risks. So yeah, but we want to be as transparent as possible. The risk is always there. But I think today, Binance, we have 100% reserve for user assets. Operating assets are completely separate. We have a large reserve for that as well. So I think, knock on wood, we are in a we're in a very different situation than FTX. Many other exchanges potentially may have exposure to FTX going down. Now, FTX going down, there's rumors of Genesis Genesis paused withdrawals. So there's rumors of their liquidity issues there. Yeah. And now Gemini may be affected by that. So there's multiple interdependencies in the ecosystem. I think people should look for much more independent, well-run, isolated businesses, which Binance.com is one of those examples. We don't rely on other third-party loan providers, etc. So, and the loan business is high risk in the industry. So any loan platforms are at high risk. I'm not saying that all of them are going to have problems. A few may, most of them will be fine. So other than that, I don't like this in any industry, especially a new one like ours. There's many risks. Even in the internet industry, there's many risks. In the traditional industry, there's many risks. So yeah, I mean, in Lebanon, the banks stopped withdrawals, right? So the banks stopped working like for a month. Same thing in Ukraine. Well, Ukraine's kind of recovered a bit. So yeah, there's many risks in many different places. I won't be able, to be honest, everything has risks. So I won't be able to name all of them. It's just that people should understand that risk is not a black and white thing. And then they should learn to judge the level of risk for themselves because they are more familiar with the things they interact with or use. And that risk management mindset is really important. Don't put all your eggs in one basket and always have a backup way.
And let's also address another elephant in the room, and this is a hard one to swallow, so pay close attention to the question and his reply.
Don't take information from Rubini verbatim. Those are wrong information. I cleared it up today in the Abu Dhabi conference. Binance is not banned from operating in the UK. Binance does not have a license to operate in the UK. That's different from being banned.
Sure.
UK as a Commonwealth country allows reverse solicitation. As long as we don't solicit, like advertise in UK, if a UK user come to us, it's fine.
But why don't you have the license?
We're the most licensed platform in the world, globally. We have 15 licenses globally. Many countries haven't issued that many licenses. So that's just a state of things today in the world. We are working collaboratively with the FCA. We have ongoing dialogues with them. We would like to get the license, but today we haven't got it yet. But we're not banned. Those things are different. So don't take the news too verbatimly.
And finally, CZ has been saying for a while that we can have centralized and decentralized options inside the crypto space. But if crypto becomes entirely decentralized and people have easier wallet access and management, can Binance still survive and CZ have a business?
As soon as two people work together, is that centralization or not? That is kind of centralization. And if a company of 2,000 people works together and they build a platform that many other people like to use, in a free market, there will be some centralization. And so decentralization doesn't mean everyone just are completely isolated and everyone's equal. That's communism. That's different from capitalism. That's different from free market. So this decentralization versus centralization concept should be viewed in a balance. Today, we have centralized entities in both the traditional financial world and also in the also in the crypto world. And tomorrow it's going to be the same thing. Hopefully, over time, the technology will allow more of the tasks to be able to be done by individuals, so that we are moving towards decentralization. Today, if you ask everybody in the world who does not have crypto to hold crypto on their own, they're not technically capable of doing that. I think you and I know that already, right? So if we just force people to go from banks directly to DeFi, most of them will lose their own money because they misplaced it, or they lost their device, or they don't know how to encrypt it, etc. So that's not the best way to grow the industry. So today, more people will be more comfortable with email address, customer support. So this is why centralized entities still exist. So I think it will coexist for a while.
What do you think about all of this? Is CZ a hero trying to fix the shit Sam did? Or is he also a bad player benefiting from this crash? Let us know in the comments below, and please share this video on your social media so we get more opinions on it. If you enjoyed this content, please leave a like and subscribe. We do our best to bring you the best daily crypto news. Thanks.